What's up YouTube, it's Hector from Not Too Nerdy. Welcome back to another episode of Dead Chat. So I will be discussing episode 10 for season 5. It's called Them. So if you've not watched that yet, definitely go check it out because there will be spoilers in this episode of Dead Chat. Now obviously, in case you guys didn't know, it's sort of like Talking Dead, but it's a show that I really like and I really wanted to, talk about some of the things I saw and give you a different perspective of how I feel about the show. So this episode wasn't a huge episode in the fact that there wasn't as much action. It's more about the characters themselves. Maggie had issues with like her religion and she lost faith sorta, and it's pretty much everyone in the group was starting to lose hope, starting to lose like their faith and stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy because in a way there was a moment where there was a hurricane or a huge storm. I'm not gonna say hurricane, but it was a pretty big storm. And they were in a shed and there's in shelter and stuff like that. And it's kind of weird because like all these walkers are outside and everything's chaotic, and it just adds to the chaoticness of the world and how crazy it is that even they still have to survive no matter what the circumstances. Like there's walkers out there, there's other people trying to kill you, there's you're running out of food, you're running out of water, which they show in the episode, and all of a sudden it does start to rain, but then all of a sudden it starts to be the type of rain that you don't want, which is a major storm that you needed to take shelter. So it's a really crazy world and a lot of things goes on. But this episode was the defining moment of this episode was when Rick said his speech. Now I'm going to read you the speech of Rick read, and this, for the first time, they actually used the name of the show, and it really defined the world that they live in. So let me go ahead and read this to you guys real quick. So this, to me, was just brilliant. I really thought that this was one of the best speeches, probably the best speech that he could have said that really defined the world that they live in, to give everyone hope. And pretty much, I was right. I'll point that out afterwards, but we'll get to that in a second. What Rick said was, when I was a kid, I asked my grandpa once if he ever killed any Germans in the war. He wouldn't answer. He said that was grown-up stuff. So I asked if the Germans ever tried to kill him, but he got real quiet. He said he was dead the minute that he stepped into enemy territory. Every day he woke up, he told himself, rest in peace. Now get up and go to war. And then after a few years pretending he was dead, he made it out alive. And that's the trick of it, I think. We do what we need to do, and then we get to live. But no matter what we find in DC, I know we'll be okay, because this is how we survive. We tell ourselves that we are the Walking Dead. Now that speech was amazing. And I've been saying that since day one. It seemed like the title, The Walking Dead, was not just the walkers. It wasn't the zombies out there, It was really the people. The people were the Walking Dead, because every day they're out there, they're walking, but they're going to die sooner or later. Sooner or later, they're going to die, and if you really stop to think about it, they're all the Walking Dead. Because they're all dead. They're dead men walking, right? They're the ones that are going to die soon, and no matter what they do, they're eventually going to die. But in order to survive, you have to accept that. You have to accept the fact that you know that you might die that day. But you have to do what it takes to survive. And I think that pretty much opened up a lot of people's eyes, the rest of the characters. It showed them that, everything that happened so far, whatever happened, they're still alive for some reason, There's a reason why they're all alive. And there's even a moment after the storm, there's a giant tree that just landed and killed all the walkers that are trying to rush into the barn, And there's a moment where they said, wow, that could have been us, and it wasn't. There's a reason why they still survive, even after the storm, even surviving with the tree landing. There's a reason why they're still alive. And I think they're starting to accept the fact that they have to fight to survive, that they cannot give up. No matter how many people die, no matter how many people that they lose in their lives, they can't give up. And I think that's pretty cool. This show is not just the walkers, it's about surviving. It's about understanding that you're going to have to keep up everything. And it's funny because here goes Maggie losing her faith, and the priest over there is the one that, he throws away his collar. He loses his faith as well, because he understands that in this world, you can't just sit down and hope that something good's going to happen. You have to make something happen yourself as well. And I think he started to accept that. You know, he started to do things that he knew that he couldn't do before. For example, the moment where they kill those dogs, you know, they kill those dogs and, you know, like, they kill the dogs with no mercy because they had to eat. They had to survive, you know. And not to mention the dogs probably would attack them anyway. But, you know, there's no remorse with the dogs anymore. Like, even though, like, today's, you know, in the real world, dogs are man's best friend, you know. But when you have to survive, that's just what it became. They had to survive. And someone like the priest wouldn't normally do stuff like that, but he understands that he has to change. He has to do what it takes to survive. If he really wants to live, if he really wants to survive, well, he has to do what it takes. And I think this episode was a good episode. You know, it wasn't just a normal filler episode, because normal filler episodes, like, you know, change of pace and there's not that much action, stuff like that. But this one was important. This one was really important to give everyone that vote of confidence that they have to do what it takes to survive. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you really think that that's what the purpose of this episode was? Now, real quick, just to touch up the ending of the episode where this new guy came out of nowhere, and also in the middle of the episode, like, they left water and everything in the middle of the road and pretty much was enticing them to drink it. You know, they thought maybe the water might be poison or something like that, but they were enticing them to drink it, and they didn't drink it, even though Eugene, that dummy, was about to drink it, and they slapped the water out of his hands, which is pretty funny. But, yeah, so who is this new guy? Who do you guys think this guy is? What do you think's going on in the show? What do you think, you know, obviously, we already know, we've seen this before. Anytime someone says they're friendly or they're friends, it turns out they're not like that. So, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode or the next couple episodes? Let me know in the comments down below. And how do you feel about this episode? You know, what do you think the importance of that speech was by Rick, and how do you think it's going to motivate everyone else? Let me know in the comments down below. This is Hector from Not Too Nerdy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm out. See you, YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps me out. Also, if you're new to this channel, subscribe so you can see new videos from me every week. And remember, it's okay to be not too nerdy.